Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm NDL Gamer. Today, we're starting again with a guide on the game DC Dark Legion to see the top 6 firepower heroes that you definitely want in your squad. These are the ranged damage dealers, the ones who stay safe at a distance but absolutely destroy the enemy with their insane skills and ultimate attacks. If you're building a strong team or just want to dominate both PvE and PvP, this list is for you. Let's get started. The reason I said top 6 even though there are 10 heroes, is because I don't think there's a need to include 4 epic heroes in the rankings anymore, since they only have one skill and no one will use them later. Now before we get into the rankings, let me break down the criteria real quick, so you know exactly why these heroes made the cut. First up, damage output. We're looking for consistent, high DPS from a safe range. No burst-only heroes here. It's all about sustained fire. Next, we've got performance in both PvE and PvP. A good firepower hero should hold their own no matter the mode. Then there's synergy, how well they fit into faction-based teams, and whether their buffs actually make a difference in real fights. And finally, we're looking at energy gain and mobility. The faster you can charge that ultimate and reposition, the more pressure you can keep on the enemy. So with all that in mind, let's count down the top 6 firepower heroes you should be building right now. Alright, kicking off the list at number 6, it's none other than Green Arrow, the sharpshooter of the Justice League. Now, Green Arrow brings some serious style to the battlefield. His kit is all about precision shots and flashy attacks, like that boxing glove arrow, which deals big single-target damage. He's also got a rain of arrows move that hits multiple enemies, and his ultimate. He leaps into the air and lets loose a powerful burst that just melts one target. One thing I really like about Green Arrow is how consistent he feels. His crit rate gets a 15% boost, which means he's critting a lot, and you'll definitely feel that in longer fights, and because he's part of the Justice League. He benefits from solid team-wide buffs like increased attack and health, which gives him more staying power than a lot of other firepower heroes. But let's be real, while Green Arrow is cool, he's not the hardest hitter on this list. His ultimate is single target, which means he falls behind in crowd control and AoE situations. He also lacks strong debuffs or utility that other heroes bring to the table, so, while he's got great crit potential and stylish skills, his limited coverage holds him back, and that's why Green Arrow sits comfortably at number 6 on our firepower list. Coming in at number 5, we've got the badass vigilante with guns blazing, Red Hood. He's repping both the Bat family and the League of Assassins, and trust me, this guy is all about fast, brutal damage. Red Hood shines when it comes to critical hits. Every time his basic attack lands a crit, he tosses a grenade that explodes for AoE damage, and this effect can trigger every 5 seconds. That makes him super effective in clustered fights or against teams that like to group up. He also gets a crit rate boost based on how many enemies are nearby, up to a whopping 30%. That means the more danger he's in, the more dangerous he becomes. And let's not forget his skill Strafe Strife, where he jumps into the action and wipes out enemies in an area, then boosts his dodge by 40% for 8 seconds, super clutch for survivability. Plus, his passive increases ATK for all heroes on the field, not just himself, which makes him an awesome pick for team synergy. But, Red Hood's biggest weakness is that he relies heavily on crits. If your gear isn't boosting his crit rate enough, his damage will feel underwhelming. Also, he needs to stay close to multiple enemies to get the full crit bonus, and that puts him at risk. So while he's not the safest pick, Red Hood offers explosive AoE, great scaling with crits, and a mix of offense and agility, earning him the number 5 spot on our list of firepower heroes. Alright, taking the number 4 spot is the king of Atlantis himself, Aquaman. This guy's got some serious crowd control and zoning power. What makes Aquaman stand out in the firepower category is his utility. He's not just about raw damage, he can actually lock down enemies with his water prism, which immobilizes a target for 4 seconds. That's huge in fights where you need to shut someone down before they cause problems. Then he's got this wave push ability that deals AoE damage and knocks enemies back, giving your team breathing room. And his ultimate? He summons a massive water vortex that deals damage over time and pulls enemies toward the center. It's basically a vacuum of pain, super useful for grouping up enemies and setting up combos for the rest of your team. And get this, if you've got 4 or more Justice League teammates, Aquaman's basic attacks gain a 50% chance to deal massive bonus damage right from the start of battle. Now, the downside? His damage scaling isn't the highest compared to others on this list. Most of his power comes from control and utility, not pure burst. So if you're looking to melt enemies instantly, he's not that kind of guy, but overall, Aquaman brings disruption, team synergy, and reliable utility to the field, and that's why he earns the number 4 spot in our firepower rankings. Coming in at number 3, we've got the unpredictable and deadly Two-Face, a true wild card in the firepower lineup. Now, Two-Face is all about area damage and status effects. His basic attacks already hit hard, but his skills? They're built to shred multiple enemies at once. His first skill fires a burst from his assault rifle, dealing 355% physical damage in a circular area. But here's where it gets spicy: if the target's under the panic effect, there's a 50% chance to apply bleeding for 5 seconds, dealing extra damage every second. That means his damage keeps stacking, even after the bullets stop flying. Then there's the ultimate. This is where he goes full chaos mode. He pulls out 2 rifles and sprays down enemies in a cone, dealing a whopping 590% physical damage and inflicting panic for 10 seconds, which lowers the target's spiritual defense. It's a perfect combo setup: ULT to apply panic, then follow up with normal attacks or skill 1 for bleeds, and don't forget, his passive buff gives 10% ATK to all Arkham's Most Wanted allies, making him a great pick in faction-based team comps. Now, as for weaknesses, he's a bit reliant on effects. His full damage potential really kicks in only if you get those panic and bleeding procs, so sometimes it can feel a little inconsistent. However, if combined with Team Arkham, he will also increase the chance of bleeding the opponent. And since his damage is AoE based, he's not the best when you need to burst down a single high priority target fast. But with all that said, if you want a firepower hero who can apply pressure, control zones, and keep damage flowing, Two-Face is a menace. Solid number 3 on the list. Sliding into the number 2 spot, we've got none other than the genius mastermind himself, Lex Luthor from the Legion of Doom. This guy is an energy machine and a damage powerhouse, and honestly, he's one of the most reliable firepower heroes in the game. So let's talk skills. His first skill unleashes a fan-shaped bullet storm, dealing 560% physical damage to enemies in front of him. Great for clearing clusters and punishing frontlines early on, but what really makes Lex stand out is his ultimate. He calls in a freaking satellite strike from orbit, blasting the enemy backline with 1040% physical damage. Yeah, you heard that right. This is one of the highest burst ultimates in the firepower category. And it hits everyone in the enemy back row, making it perfect for wiping out supports and Intimidator. And here's the kicker: he's got amazing energy synergy. At the start of the battle, his energy regen gets boosted by 20%, and he gains an extra 7.5% for each Legion of Doom ally on your team. Oh, and he also gives 40 starting energy to all Legion teammates. That's a massive head start in any fight. Now for the pros and cons: white heavy checkmark pros, super high burst damage, fast ultimate generation, and team-wide energy support. He's basically a walking battery with a cannon strapped to his back. Crossmark cons: he needs protection. Lex doesn't have much in the way of mobility or defense. So if the enemy dives him early, he can get taken out before he really pops off. He also performs best with Legion of Doom synergy, so he's slightly less flexible in random teams, and there is one person who combines with him quite well, that is Aquaman. Although they are not on the same Legion of Doom team, but Aquaman pulls all enemies to the center so that Lex will deal damage to all enemies. But overall, Lex is a beast. Insane energy support, deadly ultimate, and consistent pressure make him easily one of the top firepower picks in the game. And finally, taking the crown at number 1 in our firepower ranking is the deadliest marksman in the entire DC Dark Legion lineup. Deadshot from the Suicide Squad. If you're looking for pure damage, sustained pressure, and anti-healing, This guy does it all, and does it with style. Let's break down why Deadshot is just insane. First up, his basic attacks are no joke. They deal 80% more damage to any enemy suffering from his anti-heal effect. And trust me, that effect is going to be up a lot. His first skill is all about focus fire. Deadshot locks onto a single target and unleashes a full auto barrage, dealing 500% physical damage and reducing the enemy's healing received by 9% for 15 seconds. And this debuff can stack up to 3 times. That means a total of 27% healing reduction, perfect for countering sustain-heavy teams. Then there's his ultimate, and man, it's brutal. He fires a massive bullet that deals 900% physical damage and slaps a 40% healing reduction on the target. If he gets a kill with it, boom, he gains 35 energy instantly, letting him cycle ultimates even faster. And get this, at the start of the battle, Deadshot gets a whopping 50% boost to his ACC, so that anti-heal almost never misses. That makes him the ultimate support killer and a nightmare for anyone relying on lifesteal or heals to survive. Pros: top-tier sustained damage, powerful anti-heal, energy loop potential, and excellent consistency. He's effective in almost any lineup, not just Suicide Squad. Cons: like most firepower heroes, he's squishy. He doesn't have self-health or dodge, so if you don't protect him, he can get burst down. Also, while he dominates 1v1 scenarios, he's less effective at AoE clears compared to others like Lex. But even with those drawbacks, Deadshot is the most well-rounded, hard-hitting, and strategically disruptive firepower hero in the game right now. He fits almost every team, and once you get his energy cycle rolling, it's game over for the enemy backline. Alright, that's it for my top 6 firepower heroes in DC Dark Legion. Each one brings something unique to the table, just pick the one that fits your playstyle best. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.